In my previous life, when the extreme, cold apocalypse arrived, I refused to let my ex-husband Mao Bufan and his family in. My daughter threw a massive tantrum, calling me malicious and cruel, and cursed at me. I ignored her, ruthlessly locked her in her room, and fought off the intruders all by myself. At night, my daughter apologized to me. I thought she had finally grown up and understood, as she even volunteered to take the night watch to share my burden. But to my surprise, she opened the front door while I was asleep. Not only did she welcome my ex-husband's family into the shelter, but she also pushed me out the door in just my pajamas. Outside, my daughter's face was twisted with malice, her eyes looking like they wanted to devour me. It was you who insisted on the divorce back then, forcing our family apart. And now, you want to let my dad freeze to death. You made me lose my father's love forever. Goto Ashel. As she spoke, the fruit knife she had already pierced into my body was pushed in even deeper, driven by extreme anger and resentment. I suddenly snapped. Using every last ounce of my strength, I pulled the fruit knife out of my stomach and slashed it across that ungrateful wretch's neck. Blood instantly gushed out. My daughter clutched her neck and fell straight down, stunned. Seeing this scene, Mao Bufan was immediately terrified. I instantly plunged the fruit knife into his chest too. Due to massive blood loss, I fell heavily to the ground. On the brink of death, I saw Mao Bufan's current wife, Zhan Taoyuan, walking towards me. She stood before me and sneered, "Truly a family. Our video. It only took a minor trick to make you slaughter each other." Finally, looking at her smug smile, I died, full of hatred. When I opened my eyes, I had returned to 1 week before the apocalypse. It's so hot. What kind of hellish weather is this? My daughter's complaints rang out from the living room. I snapped my eyes open, instinctively taking a defensive posture, ready to block the incoming stab of the fruit knife. But the attack I imagined didn't come. Instead, a sticky, sweltering heat surrounded me. Is this a dream? My lips trembling, I muttered to myself and pinched the soft flesh on my waist hard. Itur. It's not a dream. I opened the window and a wave of heat gushed in. The sun was blazing. The outside world hadn't yet been covered in ice and snow. Everything was normal. I picked up my phone. November 8th, 2077. It was exactly 1 week before the apocalypse. I had been reborn. Thinking of the scenes right before my death in my previous life, I clenched my jaw, a deep hatred burning in my chest. Since God has given me a second chance, then this theme. I won't let off a single person who hurt me. While I was lost in thought, my daughter pushed the door open. Seeing the tear stains at the corners of my eyes, a flash of disgust crossed her eyes. She opened her mouth only to accuse me. "Mom, it's so late and you're still not up to cook. No wonder my dad dumped you back then. To go live happily ever after with Aunt Zhan. Aunt Zhan is presentable in the living room and skillful in the kitchen. Not only is she elegant and accomplished, she even specially got a chef's certificate for my dad. Look at her. And then look at yourself. Première à tous. You're already in your 30s. Do you still think you're a young, beautiful girl? No matter how much you stare in that mirror, it won't change the fact that you're poor, ugly, and a wrinkled old hag. Eh. I snorted coldly, opening her mouth just to call me a hag, mocking her own mother to the extreme. Truly, the spawn of human trash. She is carved out of the exact same mold. Aserfati. Both are ungrateful wretches. What did you say? My daughter's eyes widened, completely shocked by my counterattack. I'm talking about you. You little ungrateful wretch. Who would even want that rotten cucumber of a dad of yours? I was the one who brought up the divorce. Your dad didn't dump me. I threw him away. Back then, your dad was kneeling in front of me like a lapdog, begging me not to leave him. As for that, and son of yours, buying you game skins all day long, and letting you skip classes. Do you really think she genuinely likes you? Don't be naive. She just wants to spoil you rotten so you'll make way for her son. That's still better than you. They treat me much better than you do. All you know is forcing me to study all day, signing me up for endless tutoring classes, and making me eat vegetables. You just want me to have a high degree, look pretty, and have a good figure, so I can marry well in the future and repay you. Grandma already told me. You just want me to grow up so you can sell me for a high bride price. Don't think I don't know. A chill ran down my spine. My decade of loving care for her couldn't even compare to two instigating sentences from her grandma. She's truly a white-eyed wolf who can never be tamed. The last lingering trace of maternal love was severed by her words. This daughter is a lost cause. Let her be whatever she wants to be. I don't want her anymore. Seeing me remain silent, my daughter thought she had hit my weak spot. She said smugly, I guessed right, didn't I? Did you think I was a 3-year-old child? Look vind, complace face. Première cigade. Call your dad. Tell him to come pick you up. Are you really willing to let me go? My daughter's face was full of disbelief. Première noded. I don't know which sentence stimulated her fragile nerves, but she was silent for a long time, her face turning red, and she yelled at me, Fine, I'll go. Living with my dad is 1,000 times better than living with you. Don't ever expect me to take care of you when you're old. What kind of sickness is this? I'm doing exactly what she wants, and she's still unhappy. I gave her a flat look, reminding her, if your dad isn't willing to pick you up, call your grandma. She'd definitely be willing to take you. Her answer was an angry grunt, followed by the loud bang of her bedroom door slamming. Première snirade. I'm not the one who really wants to sell her for a bride price. It's that good grandma of hers. But I would absolutely never say these words out loud. I'm really looking forward to watching them tear each other apart. Not long after, my daughter's hysterical shouting pierced through the door, intermittently reaching my ears. I scratched my ears, closed 3 doors in a row, and hid in the kitchen, just barely blocking out my daughter's noise attack. I didn't even need to listen to know that my ex-husband wouldn't easily accept this massive burden. Since I've reached a dead end, it's time to turn back. Thinking of the tragic end in my previous life, I hesitated no longer. I went back to my room, quickly changed clothes, grabbed my car keys, and left the house. I have far more important things waiting for me to do right now. I pulled up in front of an orphanage in the suburbs. My best friend, Wang Wenjing, was waving at me at the gate. I threw my arms around her tightly, my voice involuntarily choking up. My best friend and I grew up together. We are both orphans, and this orphanage was our home. When Première grew up to get married and start my own family. Meanwhile, my best friend, after the old director passed away, took over the orphanage all by herself. She is the closest person to me in this world. Seeing me crying, my best friend panicked and hurriedly asked if someone had bullied me. She rolled up her sleeves, ready to go fight someone for me. I stopped her and told her everything that happened in my past life. After I finished, she was silent for a long time. I thought she didn't believe me, and quickly brought out the evidence I had prepared in advance, but she suddenly hugged me. Hugging me so tight I could barely breathe. It took a long while before she spoke. Yu, it must have hurt so much. The emotions I had finally managed to compose were shattered by her single sentence. My own flesh and blood, my daughter, had never once cared about my feelings. In the end, the only one who cares about me is my best friend. This friend who shares absolutely no blood relation with me. My nose stung with sourness. But there wasn't much time left now. It was only a week until the apocalypse. There were still so many things we needed to do. Once the cold wave hits, we'll have plenty of time to be sad. Jingjing is also a level-headed person. She immediately pulled me into the orphanage's truck, the one usually used for grocery runs. The truck was donated by kind-hearted people in society and had the 5 big words printed on it. I stopped her. Jingjing, no. Where can use a vehicle with the orphanage's name on it? If someone with bad intentions remembers it, it will be a disaster in the future. Jingjing didn't think much of it. What does it matter? Didn't you say the extreme cold apocalypse will turn everything into ice and snow? If someone stays outside for an hour, they'll lose all body heat. And in 2 hours, they'll be frozen into a statue. Relax, we are in the suburbs. It's a very remote area. There's no one living for miles around. Even if people knew, they wouldn't be able to get here. We'll be fine. I shook my head. No. In order to survive, people will do a lot of crazy things. We can't gamble on what-ifs. My best friend thought I was being a bit paranoid. But she still followed my wishes and used a tarp to cover up the big logo completely. Even after covering it, my heart was still uneasy. The experiences from my past life made me realize that in the apocalypse, you don't just have to guard against extreme weather. You have to guard even more against people with ulterior motives. Security is our top priority. Jingjing and I talked it over. We needed to resolve the security issue first. Where j'arrête up and headed straight for the wholesale building materials market. Thickened steel plates, steel pipes, anti-theft grills, explosion-proof glass. Awesome. We also bought an electric fence. The boss was very enthusiastic, asking us if we were planning to open a breeding farm. Jingjing and I just vaguely agreed and brushed it off. Finally, we went to a scrap yard and bought 200 glass bottles. We planned to mix them with cement and plaster them around the orphanage walls, acting as our first line of defense. After purchasing everything, we made a trip back to the orphanage first to unload the goods and then headed straight for the supermarket. There are many children in the orphanage. 500 cases of mineral water, 500 boxes of sanitary pads, 500 boxes of heat packs. power banks, toilet paper, towels, toothpaste, toothbrushes, body wash, and clothes for all age groups. Shoes, notebooks, pencil cases. While Jingjing was organizing the shopping list, I made a run to the pharmacy. Vitamins, alcohol, bandages, blood pressure monitors, blood glucose meters, common antibiotics, allergy medicine, and other essential drugs under the guise of making charitable donations. I bought 20 boxes of them. By the time I loaded these onto the truck, Jingjing had also returned from the adjacent agricultural and pet market. She came out having bought a lot of crop seeds I couldn't even name, as well as baby chicks and ducklings. Even though I repeatedly emphasized that these things would hardly survive in the extreme cold, Jingjing still insisted on buying them. She said this is our spark, our hope. We made a full 20 trips. By the time we finished, it was already dark. Jingjing methodically directed the kids to unload the supplies. The reinforcement materials we bought during the day were already being installed. Meanwhile, I was staring at my mobile banking app, worried. Although I had made quite a bit of money over the years, I donated a portion to the orphanage every month. After this massive shopping spree today, my savings had been reduced to just 3 digits. Sieg. Xanterenbrock. As I was thinking, my hands didn't stop, and I pulled my ex-husband's phone number out of the block list. Let's go collect some interest from him first. Just as I expected. Barely 3 seconds after removing him from the block list, his call came through. He immediately questioned me. Bayu, how could you talk to Wanwan like that? You carried her for 10 months and gave birth to her. How old is she? No matter what. You can't just leave her at home by herself and ignore her. Hurry up and come pick Wanwan up. Turns out, when people are speechless to the extreme, they really just laugh. From now on, she is not my daughter, and I am not her mother. I never gave birth to an ungrateful wretch who only knows how to bark at her own mother. Oh, by the way, didn't that little wretch go looking for you? You're so anxious to send her back right away. You don't think she's just a burden, do you? Hearing this, my ex-husband immediately retorted, I am her father. Why would I drive her away? I'm not as vicious as you are. It's just staying at my place, right? Just transfer Wanwan's living expenses to me on time. 20,000 amount. Irimi's answer. I was overjoyed inside. Isn't this exactly like someone bringing a pillow when you're sleepy? I was just wondering how to trick my ex-husband. So I immediately said, no pro. Anyway, I don't want to see this little ungrateful wretch ever again. But you know as well. Over the years, our daughter wanted the best of everything. Eating the best, wearing the best. The schools she attended, the tutors we hired, they were all top tier. All my money has been spent on her. I genuinely don't have any savings left on hand. However, the house I'm living in right now is worth 8 million. Not only is it in a prime location, also in a top school district. How about this? For the sake of the many years you and our daughter spent together, I'll give you a 50% discount. I'll sell it to you for 4 million. Suddenly, my ex-mother-in-law's piercing shriek came through the phone. What? You want 4 million from us? Where would we get 4 million? Hearing this familiar, disgusting voice, I instantly got angry. What are you yelling for? So what if it's for million. If I put this house on the market, it will fetch 10 minutes. I'm practically handing you free money on a silver platter, and you have the nerve to yell at me. If you want to buy it, fine. If not, I wouldn't sell it to you anyway. Saying that, I pretended to hang up the phone. The voice of the mistress, Zan Taoyuan, came from the other side. Wait, sister, don't be rash. I know, you have good intentions. They just haven't wrapped their heads around it yet. Let me persuade them. My ex-mother-in-law shouted loudly. Persuade what? I think this black-hearted hag just wants to scam us for money. What do you want for the house? Why don't you just give it to us directly? Give what, pa? I've seen shameless people, but never anyone this shameless. Expecting us to buy what you should give for free. How thick-skinned. The mistress also felt the old woman was going too far. Ignored her words and lowered her voice to explain things over there. Shortly after, she finally persuaded them. The three of them decided that tomorrow morning they would come to the house to sign the papers. Première Frenade. And retorted, no need. Tomorrow morning, let's go straight to the housing bureau to transfer the deed. Tomorrow? Isn't that too fast? For million isn't a small amount. We can't gather it that quickly. Getting a bank loan takes time. I aggressively interrupted. How is it not enough? Your mother-in-law's old house was demolished last year, and she got fully over 3 million in compensation. Plus the 1 million your husband split from me during the divorce. That's exactly 4 million. Right on the dot. The other end of the line went completely silent, followed by the two women swearing at each other. Emma au buffon. Oh, Dario. Your old house was demolished, and you didn't tell me. You teamed up with this old bat to hide it from me, right? What are you screaming about? My family's demolition money. What does it have to do with you, an outsider? It has nothing to do with me. Huh. I'll beat you to death, you old bat. How dare you, you cheap slut. You dare throw a vase at me. I'll make my son divorce you. Asterisk. Sound of breaking objects. Asterisk. The cursing echoed back and forth. I listened with great relish. Regretting that I didn't grab a handful of sunflower seeds to snack on. After a bout of noise, the phone finally returned to my ex-husband's hands. He softened his tone and tried to please me. You, this is all for the kids. You can't just completely empty my mom's coffin savings. À la tonce. This is bad for the kids too. I smiled and said, take it or leave it. Giving you one day to gather the money is more than enough. The day after tomorrow, early in the morning, we go do the property transfer. Without waiting for a reply, I decisively hung up the phone. Delaying for a day is good too. It gives me time to pack up my belongings. I pulled away Jingjing, who had just finished organizing the supplies. My daughter had a key, and I couldn't guarantee my ex's family wouldn't move in. At the crack of dawn tomorrow, I had to hurry and take away all the cotton quilts, winterquoit, curtains, and absolutely anything that could fend off the cold. And casually install a pinhole camera to avoid any unexpected trouble. 6 days later, when the extreme cold hits, if they can find even a scrap of cloth or a single bite of food in my house, I'll admit defeat. Countdown, day 5. Just as I expected, my ex-husband's family moved in early. That evening, they were having a celebratory dinner in the house. Everyone's face was beaming with joy. À ce moment, the little ungrateful notice that all the food on the table was what her little brother loved to eat. There was nothing that she liked. Furthermore, her grandma kept putting all the meat from the table into her precious grandson's bowl. My daughter instantly got furious, slammed down her chopsticks, slapped the table, stood up and yelled, "Eat, eat, eat. All you know is to eat. He's already as fat as a bear. And you useless old bat. Has your brain been served on a plate as well? You've taken all the meat. What am I supposed to eat? Ugh. And you, Aunt Zan. I don't like any of the dishes tonight. Next time when I am home, you have to ask me what I want to eat before you cook." Premier outspoken. Who agrees and who objects? Don't forget, whose credit it is that you can live in a house like this now. As soon as my daughter finished speaking, my ex-mother-in-law and that annoying mistress were about to retort. "All right, stop arguing. This is so annoying. 1-1, go back to your room and rest." After my daughter left, my ex-husband said to the two of them, "Let's wait until the property transfer is done right now. Let's not make 1-1 unhappy." Countdown, day 4. My ex-husband's family brought my daughter and arrived punctually at the property transfer window. Although everyone had bruises on their bodies, their faces were glowing with smiles of sheer joy. I curled my lips. Still dreaming of a highly profitable venture, are they? Keep dreaming. Anyway, this dream won't last for many more days. After the money arrived in my account, the paperwork was quickly processed. The mistress deliberately held my daughter's arm and put on a fake, hypocritical display in front of me. "Sister Yu, don't worry. You made such a huge sacrifice for the child. I will definitely take good care of her." To me, her assurance is fake. Trying to rub it in my face is her true intention. My daughter reached out to wipe a fake tear from the mistress's eye. "Mom, you don't have to lower your head to her for me. Why don't you apologize to me, Mom? You have absolutely no tact at all. No wonder my dad didn't want you." Still the same old speech. It seems everything I said at home earlier went completely in one ear and out the other. Is being wanted by a man like my ex-husband really something to be so proud of? Such a bad memory too. Fortunately, the custody has been transferred. For some people, having raised her feels like having a criminal record. Watching their family walk away, I could no longer hold back the smile on my face. I started calculating how to spend the 4 million that just arrived. Since I was reborn, these past few days have been way too tense. Busy hoarding supplies and fortifying the house. I haven't even had a proper meal. How about later? I asked Jingjing out for some hot pot and go shopping. The more I thought about it, the happier I got, counting the string of zeros in my bank account balance. I stood there grinning from ear to ear. Thank you, my dear ex-husband, for sending these supplies. Countdown, day 3. The weather is still unbearably hot. The conditions aren't suitable for storing massive amounts of food yet. Countdown, day 2. It rained last night. The temperature suddenly dropped by 20 degrees, but everyone just treated it as a normal plum rain season weather. Nobody paid any attention. But Jingjing and I looked at each other and saw the deep solemnity in each other's eyes. We immediately drove the orphanage's truck. Split into two groups and started hoarding the most important resource for surviving the apocalypse: food. In order to race against time, we even brought along a few of the older kids this time. Under Jingjing's repeated instructions over the past few days, they kept the hoarding a secret and provided us with all the help they were capable of. Even though the temperature had dropped significantly, the thermometer showed it was still 12 degrees Celsius. So today, we opted to buy things that didn't have strict temperature requirements and were easy to store. Instant noodles, compressed biscuits, self-heating hot pots, bread, and other fast foods. Countdown, the last day. The time to stockpile food in massive quantities has arrived. The temperature has dropped below zero. Some panicky voices began appearing on the internet, though most were debunking the rumors. But only I knew. The prophecies about the apocalypse were real. We drove the big truck and rushed straight to the frozen food market. Pork, chicken, beef, lamb, seafood, various kinds of fish, and frozen, semi-finished products, frozen dumplings, and so on. We also went to the fresh produce and various vegetables and fruits were loaded onto our truck. No matter how much we bought, we weren't afraid of it spoiling. Very soon, the earth will turn into a natural refrigerator. A temperature of minus 70 degrees is more than perfect for preservation. Our big truck went back and forth, refueling more than a dozen times, until Jingjing and I had drained every penny from our bank accounts. Only then did we stop. We locked the orphanage's main gate tight, covered the building with thermal insulation film, and turned on all the heating equipment. Jingjing and I, each holding a cup of hot milk tea, hid under the covers to whisper secrets like we did when we were kids. Outside, the storm raged, but inside, we were safe and peaceful. When we woke up, the countdown was over. The extreme, cold apocalypse had arrived. I stretched my arm out from under the blanket to test the temperature. I let out a long breath of relief. Thankfully, it was a bit chilly, but not unbearable. Seeing that the window had already frozen over, I couldn't push it open, even with all my might. A thermometer outside had already plummeted to minus 60 degrees. Sleet started falling outside. You could hardly see any pedestrians or cars on the road. It was a vast expanse of white. However, the power hadn't been cut yet. Many people hadn't yet been forced to adidant. So this period of time was still relatively safe. Jingjing and I, along with the kids, lived our lives normally like before. Except that, every day on my phone, I would receive calls from my daughter. I would occasionally pick up one or two. As for why I didn't block her, hey, just to listen to their anxious, helpless, dog-like barking. The temperature outside continued to drop sharply every day. It had reached minus 70 degrees. Compared to our comfortable days, my ex-husband's family was not doing well at all. They had endless arguments every day. Because when I left, I took everything, usable and unusable, with me. Plus, they had been busy organizing their new house recently, and hadn't hoarded any food at all. By now, their food supplies had completely run out. Jingjing brought over a hot bowl of wontons. while eating the wontons. Just like usual, I opened the surveillance feed on my phone. Oh whoa. Midote and her grandma were surrounding the mistress, kicking her non-stop. While kicking her, their mouths weren't idle either. It's all your fault, you little slut. You convinced us to buy this broken house, leaving us with no money and no time to hoard more food and supplies. And you useless money loser. You eat the most every day. And you're good for nothing. I told you to call your mom to send some supplies over, and you can't even get that right. Bufin, why don't you make your wife and daughter go out and look for some food nearby? Otherwise, our whole family is going to starve to death. Hearing this, my daughter immediately got furious. Why should I be the one to go out? It's freezing outside. Where is there any food nearby? Even if I run far away and find some, I'll definitely freeze to death on the way back. Dad, instead of that, why not slap Grandma a few times to make her look more pitiful? And have her go cry and beg the neighbors for food. If they see how pitiful Grandma is, they'll definitely give her a little bit. One is right. Sending Mom out will definitely work. There are plenty of kind-hearted people in society now. She'd definitely be able to beg for some. So, don't listen to the instigation of these two bitches. I'm already so old. If I go out, I'll definitely freeze to death. Jingjing and I watched the surveillance feed on the phone. À petit moment, d'effet nature was vividly and thoroughly exposed. In the end, the ex-mother-in-law was pushed out by their combined forces to beg for food. Her face still bearing red handprints. Seeing this, I had no desire to keep watching. Jingjing said she was going to teach the children. So I went with her to the classroom to listen to her lecture. Until dinner time in the evening, I once again opened the surveillance feed on my phone. Dormi surprise, he managed to beg some food and come back. 2 packs of instant noodles and a few pieces of rock-hard, frozen bread. After they scarfed it all down like hungry wolves, my daughter pointed at her grandma and said, "You only brought back this tiny bit of food. Who is this enough for? Did you secretly eat some on the way back?" À petit moment, the Misaimdin. All right, stop talking. The weather has been too cold these days. Having anything to eat is good enough. Just endure it for now. It'll be fine once the weather warms up. For the next few days, the weather did not start warming up, as my ex-husband thought. In fact, it showed signs of dropping even further. The ex-mother-in-law, just like before, was forced out by them to beg for food. At first, she could still act like the first time, begging a little bit of food. But as the neighbors noticed the changes in the weather, they seemed to realize something and locked their doors tightly one by one, unwilling to give out any more food. No matter how bitterly the old woman pleaded, it was useless. My ex-husband's family had practically eaten nothing for days. Their eyes were already red with hunger, seeing that the old woman hadn't begged anything back again. The few of them went up and gave her a beating and scolding. Right then, my daughter suddenly stopped and said, "You useless old hag. You're completely useless. We ask you to beg for some food, and you can't even manage that. Dad, how about sending Grandma further away to beg? If we don't get any food, we're really going to starve to death. Hearing this, my ex-husband nodded. In the end, amid hysterical screams and curses, the old woman was still shoved out the door. Until nighttime, the old woman never returned. The few of them realized that she had probably frozen to death outside. So what, if she froze to death? That's one less mouth to feed. It's just a shame to waste those dozens of pounds of meat. My daughter cursed angrily, her eyes red. Then, she turned and stared dead at her little brother in the mistress's arms, terrifying the mistress into backing away repeatedly while holding the child, cursing. You little bitch. What do you want? He's your little brother. Mal Bufen, look at what your good daughter is trying to do. Iringti, my ex-husband stood up and said, "Stop yelling. That's her brother. How could she bring herself to do anything from now on? The three of you must go out to look for food every day. If you can't find food, just wait and see how I deal with you when you get back." With the old woman's fate as a warning. None of the three were willing, but after a severe beating, they became willing again. This kind of balance only lasted for a few days. When my daughter discovered that the mistress and her brother had frozen to death on the road, she refused to go outside ever again, even if beaten to death.